Fire Extinguisher Training. By CARM Safety Solutions. Be prepared when it matters most. Fires can happen anytime, anywhere, and knowing how to respond can make all the difference. CARM Safety Solutions offers expert fire extinguisher training designed to equip your team with the knowledge and confidence to act quickly and safely in the event of a fire. Why we do fire extinguisher training. Regulating authority. Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA applicable standards. Occupational Safety and Health Standards. 29 CFR Part 1910, General Industry Standards. Subpart L, Fire Protection. Standard 1910.157, Portable Fire Extinguishers. This standard outlines the requirements for the placement, use, maintenance, and training related to portable fire extinguishers in the workplace. Compliance with this regulation ensures that employees are properly trained to respond to fire emergencies safely and effectively. OSHA Fire Extinguisher Training Requirements. To ensure workplace safety and compliance, OSHA mandates fire extinguisher training for employees under 29 CFR 1910.157. When is fire extinguisher training required? 1. Upon initial employment, all employees must receive fire extinguisher training when they are first hired. Training should cover proper extinguisher use, types of fires, and evacuation protocols. 2. Annual refresher training. Employees must undergo refresher training at least once a year. This ensures that staff remains familiar with extinguisher operation and emergency procedures. Hands-on training, if applicable. While OSHA does not explicitly require hands-on practice, improving confidence and effectiveness is highly recommended. Why this training matters: ensures OSHA compliance and reduces the risk of fines. Empowers employees to respond quickly in emergency situations at work or at home. Helps prevent property damage, injuries, and loss of life. There will be a downloadable guide for companies who want to do hands-on. Course objectives. After completing this training, you should be able to identify the 3 common classes of fire, Class A, B, and C, and understand their fuel sources. Select the proper type of fire extinguisher based on the class of fire to ensure safe and effective use. Evaluate when it is safe to fight an early-stage fire, considering factors like fire size, spread, and personal safety. Apply the P.A.S.S. method, pull, aim, squeeze, sweep, to correctly operate a portable fire extinguisher in emergency situations. This training gives you the knowledge and skills to respond quickly and safely to small fires, enhancing workplace safety. Never ignore the fire alarm. Leave the building immediately. Turn off equipment and lights, and be sure to close the door behind you. A closed door will prevent the spread of fire and hot gases throughout the building. Use protected stairways to exit the building. Do not use the elevator. Once outside, move to a designated assembly area away from the affected building. Keep streets and walkways clear for emergency responders. Do not re-enter the building until directed to do so. Safety reminder, assembly area protocol. Do not leave the assembly area until your name has been checked off the roster. This ensures that emergency personnel know you've safely evacuated. If you leave without being accounted for, the fire department may assume you're still inside and risk their lives searching for you. It can lead to confusion and delays in the emergency response. Stay put. Stay safe. Let your supervisor or designated safety officer check you off the list before leaving the assembly area. Your safety and the safety of first responders depend on it. The fire triangle is a simple model used to understand the ingredients necessary for most fires. Triangle illustrates a fire requires 3 elements: heat, to reach ignition temperature; fuel, or combustible material to feed the fire; oxygen, to sustain combustion. Together, they produce the chemical reaction that is fire. The fire is prevented or extinguished by removing any one of the 3 elements. Keep fuel and ignition sources separate. A fire naturally occurs when the elements are combined in the right mixture. If one component is removed, fire, 1. Without heat, no ignition or continuation. If the heat is removed, e.g., cooling with water, the fire will be extinguished. This breaks the chemical reaction and stops combustion. 2. Without fuel, nothing to burn. Without a fuel source, there's nothing for the fire to consume, leading to extinguishment. Starving the fire by removing flammable materials is a key fire control tactic. 3. Without oxygen, fire suffocates. Without oxygen, or with reduced oxygen levels below 16%, the fire cannot sustain combustion. This is why Code 2 extinguishers or smothering techniques, like fire blankets, are effective. They displace or cut off oxygen. Fire classifications. Classification by fuel type. Fires are categorized based on the type of fuel that is burning, such as wood, flammable liquids, electrical equipment, or metals. Importance of proper extinguisher use. Using the wrong type of fire extinguisher for the specific class of fire can worsen the situation, spreading the fire or creating additional hazards. Critical knowledge for safety. It is essential to understand the different fire classifications and their appropriate extinguishing methods to ensure safety and effective fire control. Fuel classifications. Classes of fires. Class A fire extinguisher is for combustibles: wood, cloth, paper, plastic, trash. A Class B fire extinguisher is for flammable liquids: gasoline, oil, grease, tar, oil-based paint, and flammable gases. Class C fire extinguisher is for electrical equipment: computers, fax machines, lab equipment. Class D fire extinguishers are for combustible metals: magnesium, lithium, and titanium. Class K fire extinguisher is for cooking media, cooking oils and fats. Fire extinguishers, understanding the types and their uses. Not all fires are the same, and using the wrong type of fire extinguisher can be dangerous. Fire extinguishers are specifically designed to combat different classes of fires. Knowing which one to use is essential for safety and effectiveness. The three most common types of fire extinguishers. Water, Class A. Best for ordinary combustibles like wood, paper, and cloth. Never use on electrical or grease fires. Carbon dioxide, CO2, Class B and C. Effective against flammable liquids, Class B, and electrical fires, Class C. CO2 leaves no residue, making it ideal for electronics. Dry chemical, Class ABC, BC, or DC. The most versatile extinguisher. It works on Class A, ordinary combustibles, Class B, flammable liquids, and Class C, electrical, fires. It's a popular choice for homes and workplaces. Using the proper fire extinguisher for each class of fire is crucial for safety and effectiveness. Each extinguisher is specifically designed to combat certain types of fires, and using the wrong one can make the situation worse or create new hazards. Top reasons why using the right fire extinguisher matters. 1. Prevents fire escalation. Using the wrong extinguisher can fuel the fire instead of putting it out. Example, using water on a Class B fire, flammable liquids, can cause the fire to spread. 2. Ensures personal safety. Certain extinguishers can pose serious safety risks if used improperly. Example, using a water extinguisher on a Class C electrical fire can cause electrical shock. 3. Increases firefighting effectiveness. The right extinguisher is designed to break the fire triangle, heat, fuel, oxygen, in a specific way. Example, a Class K extinguisher uses wet chemicals to safely smother high-heat cooking oil fires, while a standard extinguisher would be ineffective. 4. Reduces property damage. Some extinguishers are designed to minimize collateral damage. Example, a CO2 extinguisher, Class C, leaves no residue, making it ideal for electrical equipment like computers. 5. Meets OSHA and fire safety regulations. OSHA and NFPA standards require workplaces to have appropriate extinguishers for potential fire hazards. Non-compliance can result in fines and increased liability in case of a fire. What can go wrong with the wrong extinguisher? Water on electrical fires, risk of electrocution. Water on oil fires, causes fire spread or even explosions. CO2 on Class D fires, ineffective and may cause metal fires to flare up. Key takeaway. Using the correct fire extinguisher is critical to stopping a fire safely and effectively. Knowing which extinguisher to use can save lives, protect property, and prevent injuries during a fire emergency. Always match the extinguisher to the class of fire, safety first. Pressurized water Class A fires only. 2.5 gallons water at 150 to 175 pounds per square inch, up to 1 minute discharge time. Has a pressure gauge to allow visual capacity check. 30 to 40 feet maximum effective range. Extinguishes by cooling burning material below the ignition point. Taking away the heat element from the fire. Never use water to extinguish an electrical fire, as water conducts electricity and can result in a severe electric shock to the person using it. Always use a fire extinguisher rated for electrical fires, Class C, to safely put out the flames. Carbon dioxide, CO2. For Class B or C fires. 2.5 to 100 pounds of CO2 gas at 150 to 200 pounds per square inch, with 8 to 30 seconds discharge time. Doesn't have pressure gauge capacity is verified by weight. 3 to 8 feet maximum effective range. Extinguished by smothering the burning materials. Displaces the oxygen. Effectiveness decreases as the temperature of the burning material increases. In many cases, an electrical fire can be extinguished simply by cutting off the power source. Make sure you know the location of the main electrical shutoff and verify that all breakers are clearly and accurately labeled for quick access during an emergency. Multi-purpose dry chemical. Class A, B, or C fires. It's mostly Class ABC. 2.5 to 20 pounds dry chemical is pressurized to 50 to 200 pounds per square inch by nitrogen gas, and it has an 8 to 25 second discharge time. It has a pressure gauge to allow visual capacity checks. 5 to 20 feet maximum effective range. Extinguishes by smothering burning materials. This separates the fuel from the oxygen in the air. Wet chemical. Class K fires. Cooking fires. 1.5 gallons of stored pressure PRX wet chemical extinguishing agent and has a 40 seconds discharge time. 10 to 12 feet maximum effective range. Extinguishes by cooling and forming a foam blanket to prevent the fire from reigniting. Avoid storing fire extinguishers under the kitchen sink or in hard to reach places. In the event of a kitchen fire, quick access is crucial, so keep your extinguisher in an easily accessible location. For many cooking fires, especially grease fires, simply placing a lid over the pan can smother the flames by cutting off the oxygen supply. If you need to use a fire extinguisher, be cautious not to spray too forcefully, as this can blow hot grease out of the pan and spread the fire to other areas. D. Combustible metals. Dry powder. Class D fires. Sodium chloride, copper, or graphite based. Some handle multiple types of metals, others will not. 6 to 8 feet maximum effective range. Low velocity nozzles or discharge wands apply agent gently to avoid disrupting finely divided burning materials. Extinguishes by cooling and smothering. Powder will act as a heat sink, while forming a crust that cuts off oxygen supply. The picture in the top left was on a piece of equipment. I had to remove it and advise the employee that part of his daily inspection is to check the fire extinguisher. The bottom left was in a building under construction. I removed 3 during our safety walk. On the top right, you can see by looking the yellow needle and the red, showing the unit has been discharged or the seal went bad. The bottom right and the top is completely gone. By leaving it in the workplace, it gives someone a false sense of security that there is a fire extinguisher close unless they take a hard look at it. Even though extinguishers come in different shapes and sizes, they all operate in the same way. If you ever have to use an extinguisher, try to remember the pass rules. P. Pull the pin at the top of the extinguisher that protects the handle from being pressed accidentally. A. Aim the nozzle towards the base of the fire. S. Squeeze the handle to discharge the extinguisher, preferably from a distance of about 8 feet. When you release the handle, the discharge will stop. S. Sweep the nozzle back and forth at the base of the fire. Be sure that the fire doesn't reignite. How to use a fire extinguisher. Pull the pin. This will allow you to discharge the fire extinguisher. The pin prevents the fire extinguisher from being accidentally discharged by squeezing the handle. How to use a fire extinguisher. Squeeze the handle. Action: squeeze the top handle firmly. Purpose: squeezing the handle opens a valve inside the fire extinguisher. Result: this releases the pressurized extinguishing agent, allowing it to flow out of the nozzle and onto the fire. How to use a fire extinguisher. Aim at the base of the fire. Hit what is burning. If so, why aim at the base of the fire? If you aim at the flames, the extinguishing agent will pass through them without effectively stopping the fire. To extinguish the fire, always aim at its base, where the fuel source is located. This cuts off the fire's ability to continue burning. Sweep from side to side. Action: sweep the nozzle from side to side. Purpose: this ensures even coverage and maximizes the extinguisher's effectiveness. Continue sweeping. Keep sweeping until the fire is completely out or you run out of extinguishing agent. Safe approach: begin extinguishing from a safe distance. Confirm the extinguisher is working before slowly advancing toward the fire. After extinguishing, monitor the area for reignition and be ready to apply more extinguishing agent if necessary. Use a slow, controlled sweeping motion when operating the fire extinguisher. Moving too quickly may prevent enough extinguishing agent from covering the fire to smother it effectively. Once the fire is out, carefully monitor the area to ensure it doesn't reignite. Guidelines for fighting fires. Fires can be very dangerous and you should always be certain that you will not endanger yourself or others when attempting to put out a fire. For this reason, when a fire is discovered, 1. Assist any person in immediate danger to safety if it can be accomplished without risk to yourself. Don't put yourself in danger too. 2. Call 911 or activate the building fire alarm. The fire alarm will notify other building occupants. If the fire is small, and only after doing these two things, you may attempt to use an extinguisher to put it out. Remember, only trained workers should put out a fire. Before deciding to fight the fire, keep these things in mind. Know what is burning. If you don't know what's burning, you won't know what kind of fire extinguisher to use. Even if you have an ABC fire extinguisher, there may be something in the fire that is going to explode or produce toxic fumes. Chances are you will know what's burning, or at least have a pretty good idea, but if you don't, let the fire department handle it. Is the fire spreading rapidly beyond the point where it started? The time to use a fire extinguisher is at the beginning stages of the fire. If the fire is already spreading quickly, it is best to simply evacuate the building. As you evacuate the building, close the door, if there is one, behind you as you leave. This will help to slow down the spread of smoke and fire. The final rule is to always position yourself with an exit or means of escape at your back before you attempt to use a fire extinguisher to put out a fire. In case the extinguisher malfunctions or something unexpected happens, you need to be able to get out quickly. You don't want to become trapped. Never fight a fire if you don't know what is burning. Using the wrong extinguisher on an unknown fire can make it worse or create additional hazards. The fire appears too large to handle with one extinguisher. If the fire is spreading quickly or is beyond a small contained area, evacuate and call emergency services. The fire is spreading rapidly beyond the spot where it started. Fires that are growing uncontrollably require professional firefighting intervention. You don't have an adequate or appropriate fire extinguisher. Using the wrong extinguisher can be ineffective or dangerous. Always ensure you have the correct type for the fire. You might inhale toxic smoke. Smoke inhalation can be deadly. If toxic fumes are present, evacuate immediately. Your instincts tell you not to. Trust your gut. If you feel unsafe, leave the area and let trained professionals handle the fire. Water fire extinguishers are good for 30 to 40 feet and last 60 seconds of use for paper products. Dry chemical fire extinguishers are good for 5 to 20 feet and last 8 to 25 seconds. Good for trash, liquids, and electrical. CO2 extinguisher 3 to 8 feet, 8 to 30 seconds for electrical and gas fires. Type D, 30 pounds, 6 to 8 feet 30 seconds for combustible metals. Type K, good for 8 to 12 feet. Lasts 50 to 75 seconds, mainly for cooking fires. How to safely extinguish an electric car fire. Electric vehicle, EV, fires can be more challenging than traditional car fires due to the lithium-ion batteries. Here's how to respond safely and effectively. 1. Call emergency services immediately. Dial 911 and report an EV fire. Inform responders that it's an electric vehicle, they may require specialized equipment. 2. Use large volumes of water. Lithium-ion battery fires require copious amounts of water, sometimes up to 30,000 gallons, to cool and suppress. Do not use foam, dry powder, or CO2 extinguishers alone, they are ineffective against lithium-ion battery fires. 3. Maintain a safe distance. EV fires can lead to thermal runaway, where battery cells continuously ignite. Explosions and toxic fumes, like hydrogen fluoride, can be released. Maintain a minimum safe distance of 50 feet and ensure proper ventilation. 4. Use a Class D fire extinguisher, if available. For small, localized battery fires, a Class D fire extinguisher can help smother the flames. However, if the entire battery pack is involved, water remains the primary suppressant. 5. Submerge or cool the battery, advanced methods. Some fire departments use large water tanks to fully submerge the EV, cutting off oxygen and cooling the battery. Alternatively, constant water streams can cool the battery and prevent reignition. 6. Do not attempt DIY extinguishing. EV fires can reignite hours or even days later due to trapped energy in the battery cells. Leave firefighting to trained professionals with proper gear and equipment. 7. After the fire, monitor for reignition. Burned EVs should be stored in a quarantine area with proper ventilation. Regular temperature checks are required to ensure no hidden hotspots in the battery. Key safety reminders: always wear PPE, personal protective equipment, when near an EV fire. Be aware of toxic fumes, use respiratory protection if possible. Never use water on high voltage components unless you're certain it's safe. EV fires are complex and dangerous, always call trained emergency responders and maintain a safe distance. The speed at which a small fire spreads depends on several factors, but under the right conditions, it can grow alarmingly fast. Here's what influences fire spread. Factors that affect fire spread. Fuel type. Flammable materials like paper, fabric, and wood catch fire easily and accelerate the spread. Synthetic materials can burn even faster and release toxic fumes. Oxygen supply. Fires need oxygen to burn. Increased airflow, like from open windows or HVAC systems, can cause a fire to grow more rapidly. Heat source. The intensity and proximity of the heat source can cause surrounding materials to ignite quickly, leading to rapid fire growth. Room size and layout. Fires in enclosed spaces can trap heat and gases, leading to a flashover, when all combustible materials ignite almost simultaneously. General timeline. 30 seconds. A small flame can double in size every 30 seconds. 1 minute. Smoke and heat begin to fill the room, making breathing difficult. 2 minutes. The fire spreads to nearby objects, increasing the room's temperature to dangerous levels. 3 to 5 minutes. Flashover can occur, igniting all combustible materials in the room. Key takeaway: fires can go from manageable to life-threatening in just a few minutes. This is why quick action and proper training, like using a fire extinguisher effectively, are crucial. Fire extinguisher training summary. Remember the pass method. Pull the pin. Aim the nozzle at the base of the fire. Squeeze the handle. Sweep side to side. Key takeaways. Know the types. Use the correct extinguisher for the fire type, Class A, B, C, D, or K. Stay safe. Never use water on electrical or grease fires. Act quickly but cautiously. Only attempt to extinguish small, manageable fires. Maintain awareness. Always have a clear escape route and evacuate if the fire grows. Post-extinguishing. Monitor the area to ensure the fire doesn't reignite. Final thought. Being prepared and confident in using a fire extinguisher can save lives and property. Stay alert, stay safe, and remember, safety always comes first. Thank you for completing the fire extinguisher training. We've covered a lot of material and you should have an idea of how serious fire hazards can be. Review and be familiar with your workplace fire plan. Learn to recognize and control the different types of fire hazards at your workplace and always practice safe work habits. Dispose of oily rags and other flammable waste in fireproof containers and practice good housekeeping. And remember, it's easier to prevent a fire than to fight one. Other trainings by CARM Safety Solutions. We offer other safety training on our website. Visit www.carmsafetysolutions.com. Some of the other trainings are forklift training, fall protection competent person training, trench and excavation training, bloodborne pathogens training, and more. Don't see a training you are needing to stay OSHA compliant? Send us an email. We are working on other training programs in English and Spanish. Our goal is to help companies stay OSHA compliant and keep employees safe. We can also do training via Zoom in some cases for remote workers. Questions? Safety when choosing to fight a fire must be your top priority. If at any time your safety is compromised, leave the structure immediately. OSHA doesn't require hands-on fire extinguisher training, but it is a good practice to do hands-on with your employer in a controlled outdoor environment. If you like our training, please consider giving us a 5-star review. That way, we can offer more training for free to keep people safe at work and at home. Everyone can watch this training and learn.